Day 4 of the murder trial of Jaylin Brazier and the disappearance of 17-year-old Zion Foster in January of 2022. Now we are waiting for court to get started here. Looks like we do have some action. We're going to take you there now.
Ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You just think you can set it up.
All set, children?
Yes.
Hopefully that's it. Okay.
Recording in progress.
Calling case number 23-3818-01-FC, People's State of Michigan versus Jaylin Brazier. Appearances, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Ryan L.C. for the people.
Good afternoon, Brian Brown, PA 0560, appearing on behalf of Mr. Jaylin Brazier. Further, Mr. Brazier, please state your name for the record.
Good afternoon, Jaylin Brazier. Good afternoon, Mr. Brazier, Mr. Brown, and Mr. Elsie. Are you ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Elsie, sir.
All rise. Not take your seats, please.
Please be seated. All the members of your president, Mr. Brazier, Mr. Brown, and Mr. Elsie, please go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, the people call Shalia Howard.
will you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give before this court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Please take your seat at the witness stand.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, you'll be asked a series of questions. Please wait till each question is fully asked before you respond. You can only have one person talking at a time. Please try to avoid our natural tendency for nonverbal answers such as shrug of the shoulder, nod of the head, as well as ahas and ahas, because those don't translate into the record. If there's an objection, please stop talking until it's resolved. Please keep your voice up, and if you would, please state your name and spell it.
Shalia Howard, Shaliahhoward.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, ma'am. I just want to ask you a few questions about some video that has been admitted as Exhibit 21. And if you can just look on the screen behind you briefly, are you familiar with those files that are depicted in Exhibit 21?
Yes.
And I'm just going to open up the first one, just kind of as an example. Back in January of 2022, where did you live relative to these homes that are depicted in the video?
Where the camera's coming from.
Okay, so right across the street.
Mm-hmm.
And can you describe the sort of camera that was where you lived?
It's a wave camera, and I had it sitting in my windowsill.
Okay, and did you have the ability to access recordings from that camera system?
Yes.
And how would you be able to access recordings from that camera?
Through the application.
And would that be on your phone?
Yes.
And at some point, did you go into the app on your phone and access some recordings from January 4th and January 5th of 2022?
Yes.
And did you do anything to sort of preserve or capture those recordings?
I just saved them.
Okay.
I just saved them.
And the camera, was it your understanding the camera was continuously recording, or would it only record at certain points in time?
It only records at certain points in time. So if it like captures a motion, then it'll start recording.
Okay, and the recordings that you saved, did you do anything with those recordings at some point?
I provided them to the mother.
And when you say the mother, are you referring to Zion Foster's mother?
Yes.
If you can just explain briefly, what were the circumstances under which you provided the recordings to her?
I was looking out my window, and I saw a group across the street, and I had went over there to see what was going on, and she had told me that
Objection to whatever was said.
Yeah, I guess without getting into anything she said. So you saw her in the area, is that fair to say?
Yes.
And at that point you provided her the videos?
Yes.
And is my understanding correct that in terms of what's depicted on the video, you didn't see any of that like firsthand yourself, is that correct?
No, just on the video.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
Good morning. Oh, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
I just have a couple brief questions. Did you install this particular surveillance system yourself?
Yes, you just plug it up.
Just plug it up? Okay. Did it have any type of internal storage as far as being able to store videos that were recorded?
They would stay for about 30 days.
30 days?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And after 30 days, would they then be deleted?
Yeah, they would I didn't have like a SD card or anything.
Okay. So you stated they were saved for a minimum of 30 days, correct?
Yes.
Could you do anything to delete the videos yourself?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. And do you know what would happen after 30 days to the videos?
No, they just doesn't be there anymore.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
Jury?
No, thank you.
Any questions from the jury? Seeing none, ma'am, you can step down.
Thank you. At this time, the people call Robert Lalone.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give before this court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please take your seat for witness stand.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
So you'll be asked a series of questions. Please wait till each question is fully asked before you respond. You only have one person talking at a time. Please try to avoid a natural tendency for nonverbal answers such as shrugs of the shoulder, nods of the head, well, no, doesn't help because also translated into the record. If there's an objection, please stop talking until it's resolved. Please keep your voice up. Please state your name and spell.
Yes, Your Honor. My name is Robert, R-O-B-E-R-T. My last name is Lalone. It's L-A-L-O-N-E.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, sir. Where are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed with the Michigan Attorney General's office as a special agent.
And before your current job as a special agent with the Michigan Attorney General's office, where were you employed before that?
With the Detroit Police Department.
And how long were you employed with the Detroit Police Department?
A few weeks shy of 27 years.
And back in January of 2022, were you employed with the Detroit Police Department at that point?
Yes, sir.
And what was your role at that time?
At that time, I was a lieutenant and I was assigned to major crimes.
And what were your sort of general duties in connection with being a lieutenant assigned to major crimes?
I had several different entities underneath me, including 3 squads from the homicide unit. I had headquarters surveillance and the electronic surveillance unit underneath my span of control also.
And as part of your role as a lieutenant with major crimes back in January 2022, did you have an opportunity to take a statement from someone by the name of Jaylin Brazier?
Yes, sir.
And do you see that individual in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir. He's seated, excuse me, he's seated at the defense table with a blue suit, blue shirt, dress shirt, and a blue, multicolored blue tie.
Thank you. If the record could just reflect that the witness is identified the defendant. And what was the date that you took the statement from Mr. Brazier?
That was January the 20th, 2022.
Okay, and where was that statement taken?
It was taken at one of the interview rooms in major crimes. I believe it was in room 520.
And when you took the statement, was anyone else present other than you and Mr. Brazier?
No, sir.
And to get Mr. Brazier to make a statement to you, did you threaten him in any way?
No, sir.
Did you use any sort of force on him in any way?
No, sir.
Did you use any sort of coercion to get him to make a statement to you?
No, sir.
Did you make any promises to him to induce him to make a statement?
No, sir.
Did you have any understanding of how long Mr. Brazier had been in custody up until the time you took the statement from him?
Yes, sir. I don't have the exact time of his arrest, but he's arrested the previous day, so give or take within 24 hours.
Okay. And did you have any reason to believe that during that period of time that Mr. Brazier had been denied any sort of adequate sleep?
No, sir.
Any reason to believe during that time he had been denied adequate food or water?
No, sir.
Any reason to believe that he appeared to be intoxicated or under the influence of alcohol or any controlled substance?
No, sir. He didn't have any visible signs, nor was there any odors of intoxicants or marijuana, anything like that.
And before you talked with Mr. Brazier, did you advise him of anything?
Yes, sir. I advised him of his constitutional rights.
And did he indicate to you whether or not he understood those rights and agreed to speak?
Yes, sir, he did.
And was his advice of rights something that was reduced to writing?
I utilized, it's called the Detroit Police Department Constitutional Rights Certificate of Notification form. It's a standardized form with the rights written out on them.
Okay, and I'm holding what's been marked as proposed exhibit 49. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Sir, can you take a look at proposed exhibit 49 and
Yes, sir.
tell me what that is?
This is the Constitutional Rights Certificate of Notification I utilized with Mr. Brazier.
Okay, and does that bear any sort of markings from him indicating that he understood his rights and agreed to speak with you?
Yes, sir. So I did, it's twofold. One of the things I did was I read him his rights out loud, and I had him read his rights, his first right back out loud to me. I do that as a way to make sure that the person's literate. Some people, if they are literate, I've had experience where they wouldn't tell me that. If they can articulate it, if he had stumbled or had trouble reading it, I probably would have read him again and went over him a little bit deeper. He didn't have any issues. He read the first right out loud, and then I asked him to fix his signatures next to each right. There's 5 of them. If he understood them, and advised him if he had any questions to please let me know. In the end, I asked him if he understood everything and agreed with it to fix his signature, which he did. With the date and time I provided him, and then I affixed my signature on there also.
And that form that you're holding that's marked as proposed exhibit 49, is that a fair and accurate copy of the form that the two of you executed back on January 20th of 2022?
Yes, sir.
With that, I move to admit proposed exhibit 49.
Submitted.
And the statement that you took from Mr. Brazier, was that something that was ultimately recorded?
Yes, sir. In the room, and I want to correct myself, I believe the recording was actually in room 519. It's all the interview rooms in the major crime section of the Detroit Police Department are audio and video recorded as this was.
Okay, and have you reviewed that recording since you took the statement?
Yes, sir.
And I'm pulling what's been marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 50. Is it your understanding that the recording of your statement with Mr. Brazier on January 20th is contained on this disc?
Yes, sir.
And does that recording fairly and accurately reflect the statement that you actually took from him on that day?
The recording that I reviewed last week and then again yesterday does fairly and accurately was recorded fairly and accurately, yes.
Okay. With that, I move to admit Proposed Exhibit 50, Your Honor.
No objection. Your Honor, may we approach the previous?
Sure. I have to excuse the jury for a moment. I'm ready to bring right back. All right. Just advise that it looks like there may be some recording with the jury. There was an order entered at the outset of the trial, and it looks like, based upon what I've seen, is that from today, Mr.?
Yes. Yes. It's my mistake.
At least the first 4 jurors, if not jurors number 1, 2, and 3, are being recorded. I can't allow that. If that happens again, I'm going to have to start eliminating cameras. All right. All right. Please be seated.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I believe just for confirmation, Exhibit 50 was admitted, correct?
No, sir.
All right, it's admitted.
And, sir, I'm also holding what's been marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 51. Have you seen this document?
If that's a copy of the transcripts from my interview, yes, sir.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
And is Proposed Exhibit 51 a copy of a transcript for this particular interview?
Yes, sir.
And so that'd be a transcript of the recording that's contained on Exhibit 50?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And does that transcript from your review fairly and accurately reflect the interview that you had with Mr. Brazier back on January 20th, 2022?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. With that, I move to admit Proposed Exhibit 51 as well.
No objection.
It's admitted.
And may I publish Exhibit 50, Your Honor?
Yes.
And, sir, before we play the video, let me ask, is there a particular style you have when you're interrogating somebody?
Generally, yes. I've interrogated a lot of people over the years, and I have a method of doing it, yes.
And how would you characterize the style or the method that you use?
I would almost say it's a soft sell. I'm not hard. I don't yell, scream, things like that. You see a lot of times on TV. I try to talk to the person, explain to them. I generally show them the evidence up to a certain point. Some things I may keep back just to see if they're going to be honest with me or not. But I try to tell them the truth and have a discussion with them. There's two sides to every story, and I try to get theirs.
Okay. And or a different style when you did this particular interview with Mr. Brazier?
No, we sat down, we had a discussion, explained to them what we had, and talked to them about the circumstances surrounding the case and some of my theories as to what may have happened.
Okay. And when you're giving theories, is it fair to say you kind of gave a lot of your theories during the course of this video?
Yes, sir.
And those are your theories, you would agree, not necessarily where the investigation may have landed finally, right?
That's correct, yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm going to skip ahead of a lot of the early portion of the interview.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to skip from the beginning of the video all the way to about 48 minutes into the video. Now, during this portion of the video that I'm skipping, who's doing most of the talking during that time?
In the first part of the interview, the majority of the talking was on my part.
And what's the purpose of you doing most of the talking at that point?
I was just trying to elicit a response from Mr. Brazier to get a dialogue going to get him to talk to me.
Okay. And I'm going to start playing the video at 48 minutes and 2 seconds.
Correct? For right now, all we got is the edges. All this is up to interpretation. I don't like when things are up to interpretation because that's when things get a little wonky, right? I don't think that's... Again, I like to find the truth, and I don't think the truth lies in that. My interpretation of truth is different yours. But if we talk about it and we say, boom, 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 this is what happened, then I can take that because it's right. To me, that would tell me if you'd say, no, Bob, although you can see the edges and you can see it's green, it's really the ocean. It's just the color hues of the water. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense, Jay. I've got a wide open map right here, a puzzle right now. You and I got to fill it in. Like I said, I'd like to know what happened leading up to it first, just for me, so I understand. I need to know, for me, I need to know what popped the cork, what set the pressure cooker, what let the things loose. Me, I need to know that. Me, I need to know that so I can go home and sleep at night and I know I did the best by you I could. And I sincerely mean that. That's for me. You know why I always want to know the truth? Because I never want anybody to answer for something they didn't do. I want the truth because I want an answer for you did this, but you didn't do this, this, and this. I always want the truth. I want the truth. That allows me to go home at night and sleep and realize that even though this person's screwed up, even though people are looking at him and thinking they're a bad person, he's a decent person, but I helped him make it right. That's for me. That's me personally. I like to find out exactly what happened. I like to find out what leads up to it. Otherwise, would people give a shit? Do you think a lot of people give a shit what led up to it? No, they just want to find out, okay, you did something, okay, boom, here, sign here, boom, we're done. That's not me. I want the backstory. I need to know. I need to know for me. That's how people are like, how do you sleep at night? That's how I sleep, because I know that number one, I don't judge anybody, and number two, no matter where somebody's at, they're like, you're already down, why would I kick you? You know what I mean? What do I get out of that? I'd rather give you a hand and help you up and help you on down the road. You know what I mean? You're at the lowest point in your life. Why would I, keep pushing you down? And again, here's the trouble scale, my friend. You're here. Remember I told you? There's 25 lumps coming. You're still going to get some lumps. Best place off the scale. But if you're stuck on the scale, do you want to be up here or down here? How do you get it to come down? If you're telling the truth, that's how you get it to come down. Right?
Mm-hmm. I did not kill her. I did not physically do anything to kill her or anything.
Okay. Maybe you didn't intentionally. What happened? You didn't intentionally.
Completely honest.
Okay.
On the drug use.
Mm-hmm.
Just recently, just before 9, of course, I was trying like psychedelics, like acid or LSD, like the same thing. And
okay.
I think that's what killed her.
Do you? Did you put some of it in the marijuana? It was in your marijuana.
There were tabs,
Mm-hmm.
and I had 2. And
Were you using it that night?
yes,
Did you have like a freaking momentary, like, didn't know what you were doing moment?
no. She also had she took a tab herself.
Let me ask you this. The problem with those drugs are, when you're on them, you don't know what you're doing. I mean, that's the reason people take them, right? Did you do something when you were, because again, I'm trying to figure this out, and that would make complete sense. When you dropped acid, did you have, I'm not saying it's okay, but...
No, I was completely covered. Completely. I just think, I don't know that the effect for her was positive, or... Because I know it does a lot in your brain. And like, with your
it does a lot. I'm going to tell you right now, it makes sense to me now. It all makes sense to me. You understand that, right? Because I'm sitting here trying to figure out how this nice young guy, Jay, could ever hurt anybody. But it makes sense to me now. Smoking weed mellows you out. Being drunk, maybe it makes you angry. You're an angry drunk. People get in bar fights. You start messing with psychotropics, it makes you do things because that's not you, that's not Jay at that point. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
If you did something under the influence of that, I need to know that because that's a big difference and I can understand that. That I can appreciate. If you did something after you took acid, that's a game changer. I can appreciate and understand that. That would help me wrap my mind around how this happened. Because I have to tell you, there's some people outside here that are like, oh, he's a psychopath. He's got no emotion. I don't think you are. I think, honestly, we've spent quite a bit of time together. If you dropped acid and did something to her, then I need to know that because I need to convey that to them. That's not you at that point. That's the acid. You understand that, right? This stuff is very, very dangerous. I mean, people take drugs to escape reality because of the pressures we're under and everything else. And trust me, with COVID, with this, with that, everybody's under a ton of pressure, probably more than any time in our recent history. But if you did something to her under the influence of drugs, I'm not talking about smoking weed. People wouldn't believe that. Like, you know, does it relax your inhibitions? Yeah. Does it cause people to do stupid things? Absolutely 100%. And probably everybody has a good laugh about the next day. You start messing with psychotropic drugs that change your reality, that's a whole other, that's a game changer. You realize that, right? Holy crap, dude. Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. If you did something to her, it wasn't you. It was the drugs. It was the acid. Because I'm telling you, in a past life, I understand what you're saying. Oh my God. It's horrible. I can see you feel a little bit better getting a little bit of the weight off your chest. We still got a little longer to go, but I see some relief in you at least. What happened once you guys took the drugs? Tell me that. What happened once you took the pills?
I was fine. I was really weird. For a moment, it was normal, the fine experience and everything. Like I said, I went to her to drink and she was living there. I noticed that when she was saying that she was feeling tired, it was shifting from, you know, seeing like the effects of it, like the kaleidoscope effects of everything, to something. Her experience wasn't the same as mine, basically.
Well, no, because it's individual. Remember how we talk about physiology? It affects everybody differently.
And I think that it's something like shut her down. Because I know my experience is, let's say if I'm having anxiety or something, it can overload your senses, like tremendously. I don't know, but
there's something else that happened though, I think. You physically did something to her, I think, under the influence of it.
When I came back, she wasn't functional or anything.
And you gave this, where did you get the acid from?
This guy on Facebook.
So they were dots?
Yeah, they're like little, they're not stickers, they're just like, I guess it's all cut cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Like
just
a
put
little,
it under your tongue or whatever.
you took 2 and she took 1?
Well, no, I had 2, we both had 1. And I know it's, I don't know like how much, I don't know how they measure how much is on any of them, but.
Like a little sugar candy type thing, right?
No, it's be like a piece of paper instead of like this phone, it's cardboard.
Yeah. And you put the cardboard under your tongue.
That's why I said, I realized that she wasn't responsive. I said, "Oh, this is bad," because what was given to her, I didn't know what to do, and I freaked out.
So when you see she's unresponsive, what did you do?
Panicked. I immediately thought they had to do with the acid.
Okay. Which caused you to do what? Because I'm going to tell you right now, you did something to her physically. I can tell when we were talking about it before.
No, I did not physically hurt her or anything. At all. At all, at all, at all. Wouldn't have at all. I started checking her breath and everything, like I said. And it was just declining, basically. I waited about 15 to 20 minutes, and it was nothing. She had no responses at all, like whatsoever.
And she could have still been breathing when you put her in the dumpster, you realize that, right? Did you freak out because she started having a bad trip and do something? You got freaked out and figured to do something, otherwise she's gonna...
No.
My problem is if we find her and we find trauma like manual strangulation or something, then we're screwed. I want to get on the front end of it.
Where I told you, body wounds, everything I told you, that's what's happening. Like nothing, no bashing her head in or choking.
No, I don't think you did.
None of that.
I don't think you bashed her right out of the gate. I said you didn't bash her head in, you didn't shoot her, you didn't stab her. I could see that. I'm telling you, I can see that. What I can also see, just my opinion, and this is my theory. My theory is you might have gotten a little scared and freaked out once she like kind of fucking passed out. And something else might have happened. That's my opinion.
That's all I have.
All right.
Completely.
Give me 1 minute, okay? You need it?
And I'm stopping the video at 59 minutes and 30 seconds. And so, during this portion of the statement that we just reviewed, you and the defendant are discussing a particular controlled substance, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And which controlled substance was that?
LSD.
And is there a more sort of common name for LSD?
Acid.
Okay. And in connection with your discussion about acid, you made some comments to the defendant, is that correct?
Yes.
These are leading questions.
I think I can, I'm not leading on I'm just trying to lay some foundation.
All right. Go ahead.
I guess would you agree you made some commentary, you shared some commentary with the defendant?
Yes, sir.
And what's the purpose of doing that, some of the comments that you made?
Just to elicit some statements from him to have some kind of severance of understanding. And the comments I was making to him about like him personally and things like that, those were sincere. He's an articulate young man. I just wanted to find out a baseline. I was legitimately trying to figure out what happened.
Okay. Thanks. Something further?
Good afternoon, Lieutenant.
Good afternoon, sir.
Just a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
So, originally you were asked about you giving theories to Mr. Brazier, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you agreed that some of these theories, not all these theories, weren't really supported by evidence, correct?
Without having the physical body, we really don't have the evidence to support my theories, no.
So, okay, so just to be clear, your theories were not supported by evidence, correct?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And you were just kind of, I guess, just throwing things out there to see if it stuck, for lack of a better term?
I would say yes. I was trying to probe around and see if I could elicit something from him that would allow me to go in a little bit deeper and find a little bit further about what had happened to her.
Okay. Thank you, Lieutenant. No further questions.
Yes, sir.
Any redirect?
Just quickly, when you said that your theories at the time were supported by physical evidence, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is it fair to say you're talking about at that time, back in January 20th?
Objection, that's legal.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. And at some point, you left Detroit, the Detroit Police Department, and have you been involved in the investigation since then?
No, sir, I have not.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any questions from the recross?
No.
Any questions from the jury? Is there a question? All right, Ms. Brazier. Was Mr. Brazier tested for drugs in his system? If you know.
I do not know, sir.
Any follow-up questions?
No, Your Honor. Thanks.
No questions.
Okay. Sir, you can step down.
Yes, sir.
this time the people call Christopher Chinaki.
Will you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give before this court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
Thank you. Please take your seat at the witness stand.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, sir.
So you'll be asked a series of questions. Please wait till each question is fully asked before you respond. We will have one person talking at a time. Please try to avoid our natural tendency for nonverbal answers, such as shrug to the shoulder, nod to the head, as well as ahas. Because those don't translate into the record. If there's an objection, please stop talking until it's resolved. Please keep your voice up. If you would, please state your name and spell it.
My name is Christopher Chinaki, ChristopherChojnaki.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, where do you currently work?
I'm currently employed by IC Solutions.
And what is IC Solutions?
It's a telecommunications organization for facilities with incarcerated individuals.
And what is your role with IC Solutions?
I am the site administrator at the Macomb County Sheriff's Office and jail. So I'm responsible for maintenance for the equipment for telephones, tablets, visitation units, and also responsible for fulfilling records requests.
And how long have you been in that role?
A little over 2 years now.
And in connection with, well, let me ask you this first. Based on your role, do you have some familiarity with the Macomb County Jail?
Yes, sir.
And do inmates at the Macomb County Jail have the ability to make phone calls to the outside?
They can make phone calls if their account is funded, or they can make collect phone calls if someone will accept those charges.
And when an inmate from the Macomb County Jail makes a phone call to the outside, are those calls recorded?
Yes, they are recorded.
And are recordings of inmate calls stored in some way?
They are stored electronically at our data center in San Antonio, Texas, and we have a backup data center in Atlanta, Georgia.
And as part of your role with IC Solutions, do you have the ability to access recordings of inmate phone calls in some way?
Yes, sir, I do.
And what is your ability to access such recordings?
The recordings can be accessed based on search query. That can be a date and time frame. That can be a particular individual that's calling, or phone numbers that are being called.
Okay. And are you, when you access those recordings, are you doing it through a computer program or the internet? How does that work? They
have a web interface that I log into to access the records.
Okay. And so if you were asked to pull recordings from a specific inmate from a specific time frame, would you be able to do that?
Yes.
And at some point, were you asked to pull a handful of recordings for an inmate named Jaylin Brazier?
Yes, there was a request at the end of February of this year, beginning of March, that I fulfilled.
Okay. And in response to that request, did you pull some recordings associated with that inmate?
There was approximately 7 recordings of interest that I supplied to the requester.
Okay. And I'm holding what's been marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 52. Is it your understanding that this particular disc contains 2 of those recordings?
Yes, my understanding is that there's a subset of 2 recordings out of the ones that I provided.
And would it also include a data sheet that includes data associated with the recordings?
Yes, there would be a query sheet that shows the parameters of the query, and then the record information as far as date, time, individual, phone number, where they were calling from,
And these particular recordings, are they associated with a specific inmate?
As I recall, they were associated with inmate Brazier versus Jaylin.
Okay. And in terms of the two recordings on this disc, is it fair to say that other than redactions for certain content that would not be admissible in court, that these recordings are in substantially the same condition they were in when you pulled them directly from the system?
They appeared to be when I saw the evidence, yes.
Okay, thank you. With that, I move to amend proposed exhibit 52, Your Honor.
Great.
Thank you. May I publish?
Yes.
And sir, I want to direct your attention to the screen behind you, if you're able to see that. Do you see these two files?
Yes, sir. I do.
And in terms of the names of these files, is there any sort of information that we can glean from the file names?
Yes, sir. The file names generally contain information regarding the record. The first series of numbers before the underscore would be the unique identifier of the record within our database. The second set of numbers would be the inmate number associated with the phone call. And following that, you have the date of the call, the time of the telephone call, the phone number that was called, and then lastly, the identifier of the device that was used to make the telephone call.
Okay, and if we then open up the data sheet, now does this sheet contain the information for all 7 calls that you were requested to pull?
Yes, that includes, for the most part, the information that's included in the file name of the file. And there's some additional information towards the end there that includes what type of call it was, what the billing bracket, includes the common name of the identifier for the phone call, and then the amount of time spent on the phone call.
Okay, and you mentioned there's an inmate ID. Is that, can you explain what an inmate ID is?
When individuals are booked into Macomb County Sheriff's Office, if they haven't been there before, a new ID number is generated for them. Otherwise, they retain any number that they had previously, and that's unique to that individual.
Okay, and so would the name then correspond with a particular ID?
Yes, sir.
And in terms of the phone number dialed, is that reflected in this column labeled phone number?
Yes, sir.
And would that be the same number for all of the calls in question, including the 2 recordings on this disc?
It appears
Ending 6114.
1 0 9 7 9 5 4 2 8. Inmate ID 3 9 2 6 8 2. Date 2022 1 25. Time 1 3 1 1 2 3. Dialed number 1 3 1 3 5 1 6 7 0 4 6. From station 6 1 1 4. Press 1 for English. The time is 1:11 p.m. If you are depressed, thinking of harming yourself, or having thoughts of suicide, immediately reach out to a deputy, mental health clinician, or medical personnel, or any staff member. Press 1 to place a call. Press 2 to please enter your PIN number followed by the pound sign. After the tone, please say United States of America.
United States of America.
Press 0 to make a prepaid collect call or speed dial call. Press 1 to make a debit call. Press 2 to make a calling card call. Press for calls within the United States, Canada, and the Caribbean. Please enter the area code prefix. You have a previous call from an inmate at Macomb County Jail. Your account balance is $20.96. To hear the charges for this call, press or say 2. To accept this call, press or say 5. To refuse this call, this call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. If you are visiting or talking to an inmate on the phone and they sound depressed, may be thinking of harming themselves, and you feel there may be a life safety issue, such as the potential for suicide or other serious concerns, please call 586-307-9426 and request to speak to a shift supervisor immediately. Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking.
I'm going to pause at 3 minutes and 3 seconds and skip to 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And sir, just to be clear, what's the, if we're looking at the file name again, what's the date of this particular call?
Based on the file name information, the date of that phone call would be January 25th of 2022.
And I'm going to resume playing the video at 5 minutes and 29 seconds. Or not the video, the call, sorry.
That person or whatever.
Yeah, I know. Hey, bro, is that the bed in our basement?
I don't know.
I said, you know the bed that was in our basement?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, have you guys ever had anybody down there? If we checked that for a key in there, I was like, bro, that basement's just covered, that bed is covered in fucking dust. And she's like, well, like, bro, they're really trying to make a whole narrative.
You switched your story.
You say what?
The police talk about the news saying that you switched your story or whatever.
What's I don't know. I haven't had any updates on news shit going on. But yeah.
My friend, they was trying to keep you in there. Well, we doing everything out here. We're trying to get you out. It's probably going to be a while.
I know. I told the court yesterday, I told the dude that was representing me for your history that everything that I said in that statement was literally out of like fear from my family and shit, and that Gary literally had told me what the fuck to say and to say that, and how he was like say that he can't help me in swamp charge. And it basically everything that you heard him say, everything my mom heard him say. And he was like, what? That's wild.
I need you to do something for me.
Yeah.
Pause it at 7 minutes and 12 seconds and move forward to 10 minutes.
Down. I need you more.
She's crazy. I said, you literally never went to the police department with that, so you all had to do is nothing.
I'm still, at the end of the day, you're going to make me look worse anyway.
Yeah, I know. So, I love you.
I'm going to stop it at 10 minutes and 29 seconds. And moving to the next file, what would be the date associated with this file?
Based on the file name information, the date of that telephone call appears to be February 9th of 2022.
And I'm going to publish that file, which for the record ends in the numbers 4113. and I'm going to skip ahead to the 4-minute mark.
It's just being publicized, and anything that anybody comes up with is just being ran with. Literally. And I'm talking about literally my first court date, they told me I couldn't speak. The second one I had, he said I couldn't speak. He's going to speak for me. So that's why the circuit court be a whole different judge, but I need to be able to speak for my fucking self. Because they're badly has been getting no against they're sitting down and talking to detectives. They think that I turned myself in and they locked me up. They don't know anything. Literally. So that's why they're still running off any little shit that they can come up with. And it's pissing me off so fucking bad. But again, the problem is like I'm hoping that this next court date they let me fucking talk for myself. Because they're trying to make this dumbass narrative speaking on my fucking name and fucking shit up even worse, you feel me? Yeah. It's really fucking irritating. Like shit. And then, like I said, when I talked to the detective, I told them when I told them, and they swear to God, it was something, it was more to it. Like I told you, they were really pressing me for extra shit. And I'm like, I can't tell y'all more because I told y'all all there is to tell you, you feel me? Exactly. And then after they start trying to make that fucking finicky ass murder charge, they have to drop it. I'm like, bro, nothing I said was anything like that. And then I cooperate with you motherfuckers and everything. So I don't know what the issue is. So the issue is clearly they're just trying to publicize the goddamn thing, the goddamn case type shit.
What they try to say is the lady said that you're trying to cover up for somebody and you're making it that people
so. Someone said somebody's pregnant and did not speak. I was like, do y'all hear how fucking stupid y'all sound?
And so why would you lie? I'm like, y'all don't know shit.
Literally,
you don't want to say anything. It's because the lawyer told you not to say shit. Second of all, she gonna say some, why would you go up there and tell me what's on, what's called social media?
Yeah, that's what it's going to do. Oh my God.
Because that's the kind of stuff in when you have to go on television and not that you are a person's interest.
Bro, like, I had no idea what was going on beforehand, all the shit that was happening. It's like people just shut the fuck up. Like, damn. This shit bad. Like, I'm telling you, it's really pissing me off, bro.
I know.
Then I think, bitch, I'm ready to put hands on fucking everybody, bro. Literally.
Stop.
It's like, it is really blowing me, dog. Like,
I'm going to stop at 6 minutes and 47 seconds. No further questions?
Just a couple brief questions. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Now, you indicated that I believe this inmate calling solutions spreadsheet that you looked at, you indicated that for the most part it has all the information that's contained in the file name?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What information would it be missing?
Information specific to the billing information, mostly the length of the call, how long they were billed for, what the billing class was, whether it was a local or not local call, the type of call payment, whether it was collect or prepaid or what have you.
Okay, understand. And does every inmate who uses this phone system, they have to enter their PIN number?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Is that a system-generated PIN number that's provided to the inmate, or is that a PIN number that the inmate chooses for themselves?
It's a little bit of both. The PIN is a combination of their inmate number, which is supplied by the jail once they're booked. And then it also includes a 4-digit code that the inmate themselves select.
Okay. And are you able to verify, what methods are you able to verify whether or not what PIN number or that particular PIN number is entered prior to making this phone call?
So it's entered into the database, and that's one of the two factors that it uses to go ahead and verify the individual's identity in order to place the phone call.
Okay. And is that information reflected on the inmate calling solution spreadsheet whether or not the PIN number was entered or what that PIN number may be?
Yes, sir, that PIN is entered in there. Although, to be honest, I'd have to look at the spreadsheet again. Generally, when I provide the records, I don't include that PIN in and of itself.
Okay.
That's, again, an internal check to verify that the proper person is using the telephone.
Okay. There could be some situations where inmate may share their PIN number with another inmate in order for them to use the phone?
That is a possibility, yes,
Okay.
sir.
In your experience, does that happen?
It happens voluntarily and involuntarily, yes.
Okay. And is that a frequent occurrence?
I couldn't tell you how frequent that is, but I do know that it happens, yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. No further questions.
You direct? Any questions from the jury? Sir, you accept it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is something people call Liza Moyer.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give before this court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Thank you. Please take your seat, please.
Good afternoon, Liz. You'll be asked a series of questions. Please wait till each question is fully asked before you respond. You'll have one person talking at a time. Please try to avoid a natural tendency for nonverbal answers such as shrugging the shoulder, nods of the head, as well as umpers and uhs, because those don't translate into the record. If there's an objection, please stop talking until it's resolved. Please keep your voice up. If you would, please state your name and spell it.
Liza Moyer, Lizamoyer.
Right, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sorry. Ma'am, where do you currently work?
I work for the Michigan Department of Corrections.
And what is the Michigan Department of Corrections?
It's where, after conviction, you are sentenced to do your prison sentence within the department.
As long as you keep your voice up.
And what is your role with the Michigan Department of Corrections?
I'm an intelligence analyst.
And what are the scope of your duties as an intelligence analyst?
I investigate internal and some external crime. I also work with law enforcement and provide them things that, if a request comes from them.
Do you have familiarity with whether inmates of the Michigan Department of Corrections have the ability to make phone calls outside of prison?
They do.
And are phone calls that inmates make from the Michigan Department of Corrections recorded?
Yes.
And are those recordings stored in some way?
Yes.
And as your role as an intelligence analyst, do you have the ability to access recordings of inmate phone calls at the Michigan Department of Corrections?
Yes.
And can you describe, just in general terms, how that system works, how you're able to access recordings specific to a particular inmate?
So the Department of Corrections contracts a third party for the phone service. That company is called Viapath. It was previously known as GTL. Calls going back to 2011 are stored in a server by that company. And we have the ability to go and search calls made by any incarcerated individual by their prison number, their assigned number, the number that they dialed, their location, a specific phone, and we can retrieve those calls, download those, and send those in various ways, whether that be by email, sometimes a secure link, or on disk.
Okay, and were you asked to locate two specific calls for an inmate named Jaylin Brazier?
Yes.
And were you able to go into the system and access those calls?
Yes.
And when you accessed those calls, what did you do with them?
I downloaded them first, and then I sent them to the requester.
And I am holding what has been marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 83. Is it your understanding that this disc contains those 2 calls that you accessed attributable to Jaylin Brazier?
Yes.
And is it your understanding that those calls are in substantially the same condition they were in when you accessed them and downloaded them directly from the system?
Yes.
And does this disc, is your understanding that it also contains a data sheet that includes certain details about the nature of these 2 calls?
Yes. We always include those when we send those type of telephone calls.
And this particular data sheet has data for more than just the 2 calls in question, is that correct?
Yes.
But it includes the data for these 2 specific calls?
Yes.
And what sort of data is available on that sheet?
It will show the person that made the telephone calls first, last name, their location. The location is 3 letters generally on that type of sheet, which is just the facility's code. It'll show the date and the time as well.
Okay.
And the telephone number that the individual called.
And with that, I'd move to admit Proposed Exhibit 83.
The only things I would have is I'm not sure if she's the proper witness who can authenticate these particular calls. She did state that these particular calls are maintained by a third party, and I don't believe she stated that she did any additional steps to verify the authenticity of these calls, but rather just download and send the calls off. I think more of a proper witness would be an individual from BioPath or formerly known as GTL in position to verify his authenticity.
And again, Your Honor, I've already had a witness identify the defendant's voice on the recordings on the specific disc, and I believe that a proper foundation is otherwise been laid.
Certainly she's testified that she has access. There's a process utilized through the third party to allow access. There's been a proper foundation. Very good.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm also holding what I have marked as Proposed Exhibit 82. It is a MDOC record containing some housing information for Jaylin Brazier, and it's a certified copy of that record that I'm moving to admit under Michigan Rule of Evidence 902, subsection 11, as a certified copy of a record of regularly conducted business.
Any objection? It's a move. It's an 82?
82, Your Honor. Okay, and I want to ask you first about Exhibit 82. Could I publish that, Your Honor?
Yes.
And may I also have leave to publish 83?
Good.
Thank you. If we look at Exhibit 82, what sort of information is up here in the top left-hand corner?
The heading is the specific information for the incarcerated individual. In this case, is his first, middle, and last name. His prison MDOC number is there on the left, and that number is unique to him. Whether he's discharged and comes back, he is reassigned that same number, and his date of birth.
And if we go down to the bottom toward the section entitled Movements, what's the basic sort of information that we can glean from that section of Exhibit 82?
Each line indicates where the prisoner was housed. This is essentially his movement record.
Okay.
The very first line, line number 2, indicates that he arrived to Newberry on June 16th, and then the line number 1, he left Newberry and went to Macomb Correctional Facility on October 18th, 2022. from Macomb to Cooper Street. I'm sorry. It's right
Okay.
here.
So October 18th, the record of 2022, the record would indicate that he was arriving at Macomb Correctional Facility or leaving Macomb Correctional
He was
Facility.
leaving Macomb on October 18th to Cooper Street. He arrived to Macomb on June 16th, line number 2.
Okay, and so during the period of time from June 16th, 2022 to October 18th, 2022, based on the record, where would Jaylin Brazier have been located?
He was being housed at Macomb Correctional Facility.
Okay. And if we go to Exhibit 83, do you see the two files listed here, the audio files?
Yes.
And what, if anything, can we understand from the names of the files? Is there anything significant to the file names in terms of the data reflected there?
No.
Okay. If we go into the data sheet, in looking, you see this first file ending. What does that end in? What are the 3 digits?
532.
Okay.
WAD.
Yeah, the numbers.
532.
Okay. And so if we go into okay, do you see row 80 in
Yes.
the data sheet here? What is the sort of basic information that row 80 contains?
It has the site ID, which is essentially what corresponds to each facility. So then it has the telephone number that the individual would dial,
Okay.
the date.
And what would be the date in row 80?
That would be October 1st of 2022.
Okay.
That's the time that the call was made. That's the 3-digit code for Macomb Correctional Facility. And where it says HU1A1, that's the specific telephone. That's a location within the facility.
Okay.
The PIN number is the prisoner's MDOC identification number, just with a 0 in front of it. His first, his last name, and the duration is how long row 80's call lasted.
Okay, and then you see this column toward the far right indicating file name.
Yes.
Is there any significance to this file name in row 80 relative to this file name reflected in the top file on Exhibit 83?
They're the same.
Okay. I'm going to publish that file, again, ending 532. Sorry, I forget listening to my computer crash. I just need to use a different player.
Please enter your PIN number. At the beep, repeat the phrase. With Global Telly, my voice is my password. Please enter the area code and phone number. Please hold. Please wait while your call is being connected. Please hold. Hello, this is a prepaid call from
Brazier.
a prisoner at the Michigan Department of Corrections, Macomb facility. If you feel you are being victimized or extorted by this prisoner, please contact GTL customer service at 855-466-2832. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up or press your current balance is $8.74. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using GTL.
Judge, would it be possible to turn up the volume?
Just on something else.
What?
So you know when David used to run away and he used to go swim with that lady, like just hide with that lady house, in that lady house?
Mm-hmm.
She called your mom saying that a detective called her that's new on the case, that's going around calling people, asking them about what they know about the case. So if anybody comes to you, deny everything.
I'm knowing this, but
like, yeah, it's just trying to figure out how to say this.
hey, hold on. I'm gonna call you back, okay? Make sure your phone charged, right?
Okay.
All right.
Okay, and again, the date for this particular call would have been which date? In row
80.
80?
That's October 1st, 2022.
Okay, and I just want to show you briefly something that has been admitted as Exhibit 21. See this date in the green box at the top of Exhibit 21?
Yes.
On page 5. Do you see a date reflected there?
Yes.
What's that date?
October 1st, 2022.
Okay. And I'm going to show you something on page 22 of Exhibit 71. Do you see this blue box?
Yes.
Do you see a date in that box?
Yes.
And what's the date there?
October 2nd, 2022.
Okay. And going back to Exhibit 83, in terms of the second audio file, what are the last 3 numerical digits of that file?
947.
And if we go back to the call data sheet, looking at row 79. What sort of information can we glean about the call reflected in row 79?
The call was made on October 1st, 2022 at 19:35.
So would that be before or after the last call that we just heard?
That's after.
Okay, and would that be roughly just short of 2 hours?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And the location again of that call?
That was at MRF Macomb.
And the inmate that call is attributed to?
Jaylin Brazier.
Okay. And then for the call in row 79, you see the file name reflected in the file name column?
Yes.
And in terms of that file name, is there any significance with respect to the second file that is located here on Exhibit 83?
Yes, they are the same.
Okay. And I'm going to publish that file. And again, this, just for the record, this file is on Exhibit 83 and ends with the numerical digits 947.
For a collect call, press 0. For a debit, please enter your PIN number. At the beep, repeat the phrase. With Global Telling, my voice is my password.
With Global Telling, my voice is my password.
Please enter the area. Please hold. Please wait while your call is being connected. Please hold. Hello, this is a prepaid call from
Brazier.
a prisoner at the Michigan Department of Corrections Makeup Facility. If you feel you are being victimized or extorted by this prisoner, please contact GTL Customer Service at 855-466-2832. To accept this call, press 0. Your current balance is $8.64. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using GTL.
Hello? Hey, yeah, still waiting, but, so, I'm sick. Are you okay, first off?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay, is it anything major?
No.
Wait, hello?
Hello?
Yeah, is it anything, like the one major thing it could be, is it major? Okay.
But
So,
it's just a heads up and you be aware.
I know, yeah, I'm talking. So when David ran away, you saw the old lady that was across the street?
The lady that he went to go hide. Like, yeah.
Okay.
So she had picked your mom up and everything. You started to tell Jaylin, keep a heads up because it's another, yeah. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Jackie, you're so terrible. Oh my God, you're so terrible.
I know, because I know.
I know, baby, I know.
But
I've been here thinking so critically. I literally, I was sitting in the day room. Literally, because I don't know why, I think better when I'm around a lot of noise in here. So I'm sitting in the day room, just Pac-Man, and now I got a fucking migraine. So I've been like deciphering certain shit. Oh man, while waiting for this other thing. But yeah, my assumption there, the most logical and possible one, right? Is that there's nothing major or new, and due to that, there's a last effort to put together any types of anything, and that's basically the most logical thing that I came up statistically. So,
But I do want you to know, keep your head up. Don't say nothing. You should be
of course. Baby, stop talking.
I know. I mean, my dad.
I know. I just don't want you speaking on certain things. Okay.
No, I'm aware. Don't talk to him.
I know already I'm talking about it, baby. I understand, but watch TV, crosswords, fucking listen to music and walk around the track on yard, literally. I ain't got nothing to talk about too much, these motherfuckers, you feel me? We definitely gotta work on your words though. Oh my God.
My mind has been going, like, I don't know.
Oh, don't even worry, dude. Don't even worry. Just continue on like you were. When I get to, I'll break down my thoughts to you a lot more detail. But just continue relaxing. You don't need to overthink anything, overstress anything. My brain works a lot on statistics and probabilities, so I don't feel the need or foresee the need to really go anywhere with it. So just relax. Today is the first, tomorrow's the second. That's what if it's to stop the COVID thing in here. Stop searching for COVID essentially. So and usually you usually get an uptick before that. So, but actually nothing. So don't worry about nothing. Just continue on. with nothing in what you're doing, okay?
I'm not worried. I'm just giving you a you know.
Yeah, I know, baby, and I appreciate it. There's no need to go, trust me. My mental state is so far ahead of shit.
I have faith on what's going on right now, so nothing really putting me in fear or making me lose faith.
That's good. That's good. That's how I'm supposed to be.
I just need you to keep a clear head. Stay, do what you've been doing. Don't talk to nobody.
I know, baby. I know, baby. I was
nobody.
Baby, you're adorable. I love you so much. I love you so much. Nothing has changed in my mindset or behavior just since this shit first started, okay? So trust and believe I'm constantly hyper aware of everything I'm hearing, new people, suddenly anybody, any and everything. The slightest thing takes me up. No even words.
Yes, because I said everybody worries. I don't got time for nobody. I swear to God.
Just like with my mom and David and all, I pay attention. I said Travis. I pay attention to words, word choices, all that. So don't even just leave that part to me, okay? Just leave that to me.
Oh, and I only got one step left, so I'm gonna send you.
I know you told me. Hey, don't send me shit. Yeah, do that. Send me a fucking letter. That's how you told me on JPEG. Send me a motherfucking letter. How about that? Damn.
You don't want no letter.
Did you get the last JPEG I sent you?
Yeah.
That short one?
Yes.
You understood it?
Yes.
Okay. I regard the phone. I said her like, how do I? Okay. That's how much it is. I know you. But I love you. I don't want to use this call, okay?
Okay.
I literally been sitting in the day of the last probably hour, literally on some fucking Jimmy Neutron, 7 different pathway possibility type shit. So each one logically leads to the same one. Well, most of them lead to the same one. So yeah, don't even let it get you anxious, okay?
I'm good. I'm not anxious at all. I have full faith in everything that's going on right now.
Oh man, okay, alright, okay. We'll talk, okay?
Okay.
I love you.
My phone's on the charger right now.
Okay, I love you.
I love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Good afternoon. Just a couple questions. So you stated that a third party stores these phone calls?
Yes.
Okay, and you stated that's Biopath?
Viapath.
Oh, Biopath. Okay.
V-I-A-P-A-T-H, and it's one word.
Okay. And that was previously
GTL, yes.
Okay. So when did you personally request these audio calls?
I did not. I have the ability to download them from the server that we use.
Oh, so you personally didn't request these audio calls, correct?
No.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to review these audio calls?
Yes.
Okay. And when did you review these audio calls?
At the time of the request. I don't recall the exact date. Within that week, I usually get the request, and I usually work on something like this within 5 to 7 days.
Okay. Do you know who personally downloaded these calls?
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, I thought okay, I'm sorry. So you made the request and you downloaded the calls, correct?
Well, the way that the system works is it's in a server. I can go in and search them myself. I don't have to request them from a third party.
Okay. And do you know, if you know, where the calls are actually stored as far as the server?
I believe that they're stored with Viapath in a server that they maintain.
Okay. But you're not sure, correct?
I'm not 100%
okay.
sure.
And you wouldn't know where that server was located?
I do not.
Okay. Do you know their data retention policies at Biopath?
I do know some of them, yes.
Some of them?
Yes.
Okay. But not all of them?
No.
Okay. Do you know how long certain calls are maintained and preserved prior to?
From 2000, the Michigan Department of Corrections can go back to 2011. But I don't know about the other agencies or states that they serve, because I believe they have contracts nationwide.
Thank you. No further questions.
Did you read that?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Any questions from the jury? Seeing none, David, you step in. Sure. break. We'll be back.
Yeah. Right there?
Yes.
All right, you've just been listening into day 4 of the murder trial of Jaylin Brazier. The court is about to take a quick 10 to 15 minute break. We do want to give you a recap of what we just heard there. We just heard testimony from Liza Moyer. She worked with the Michigan Department of Corrections. She had access to inmates' phone calls and recordings, and she also had access to, of course, Jaylin's phone calls and recordings. And we heard those calls during court today. We heard a couple of them. And in one of them, a woman could be heard saying that they found something else. She told Jaylin this over the phone and also told him that detectives were going around asking questions, and they were telling everyone, people, it sounded like on his side of the family was telling everyone to deny. Now, after that phone call, another call was made 2 hours later. It sounded like the same voice of the woman from the first phone call we heard. And in that phone call, she could be heard saying, or Jaylin rather, could be heard saying that they have nothing major or nothing new. He sounded optimistic in this phone call. The two could be heard laughing during this phone call and pretty much sounding unbothered. Now, we also heard phone call recordings from a former Macomb County jail person who worked in the IC Solutions. Now, that is where they oversee inmate phone calls as well. And that was Christopher Chinaki's testimony. And he said that, or testified rather, that he was also asked to pull several pieces of recordings from Jaylin's phone conversations while in jail, which we also heard. In one of them, you could hear Jaylin complaining about law enforcement, saying that he told them what happened that night, and that officers kept pressing him for more information that he did not have. He could be heard in the audio recording saying that they were pressing him for that information. They were trying to create a narrative. So we heard a couple of audio calls from Jaylin while he was in jail. And again, the court is going to take a quick break. We're going to take one as well, and we'll have more right after this. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Live Now Detroit. I'm your host, Jamie Sherrod. We are continuing our coverage of the murder trial of Jaylin Brazier in the disappearance of Zion Foster, who disappeared in January of 2022. It is now day 4 of that trial. Today we heard from 4 new witnesses. That's including Robert Lalone. He worked as a former lieutenant with the Detroit Police Department, and he interviewed Jaylin Brazier. It was just the 2 of them in the room during this interview when he took his statement. We are going to play that for you right now. All right, just 1 second. We are having some technical difficulties with that. Before we get into the video, just to give you an overview of what you're going to see pretty soon here. Again, Robert Lalone, he was a former Detroit Police Department lieutenant, and he interviewed Jaylin Brazier, just the 2 of them in the room during this interview. We noticed the demeanor of Jaylin was quite different compared to previous interviews we saw from yesterday. And during this interview, he was mostly quiet. It took a minute for him to become talkative and to explain what took place that night. And also, he admitted that they both took acid that night. That was something new that we heard. And he said they did that before they started smoking the marijuana. And he also said he did not physically hurt Zion, that he did not know what to do when she became unresponsive, and that ultimately he freaked out there. Here's that video for you.
For right now, all we got is the edges. All this is up to interpretation. I don't like when things are up to interpretation because that's when things get a little wonky, right? I don't think that's, again, I like to find the truth, and I don't think the truth lies in that. My interpretation of truth is boom, boom, this is what happened.
Please raise your right hand.
Then I can take that because
You
it's,
solemnly swear or
right?
affirm that the
To
testimony
me, that would tell me, if you say, no, Bob, although you can see the edges, you can see it's green, it's really the ocean, it's just the color used of the water. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense, Jay. Got a wide open map.
Good afternoon. You may ask a series of questions. Please wait till each question is fully asked before you respond.
You and I gotta fill it in.
Only one person talking at a time. Please try to learn a natural tendency for nonverbal answers such as shrugging the shoulder, nods of the head, as well as others, because those don't translate into the record. There's an objection. Please stop talking until it's resolved.
Like I said, I'd like to know what happened leading up to it first.
Understood, Your Honor. My name is Lance.
All right, we're going to have to cut that video short. It looks like court is back in session earlier than expected. Here's a look at that now.
I work for the City of Detroit Police Department.
And how long have you been with the Detroit Police Department?
I am in my 27th year.
And what is your current role with the Detroit Police Department?
Currently, I am assigned as a supervisor, a sergeant with the Detroit FBI Violent Crime Task Force.
And how long have you been in that role?
I'm in my 5th year there.
And what is the FBI's Violent Crimes Task Force?
The Violent Crimes Task Force is a multi-jurisdictional team. It's an FBI-led team utilizing local departments, agencies, members of Department of Corrections, Detroit Police, Livonia Police, Northfield Police, that assembles this team. So it's the theory is it's a force multiplier for assisting other agencies.
Okay, and before you joined the Violent Crimes Task Force, what did you do at the Detroit Police Department?
Previous to that, the previous 13 years to that, I worked at Detroit Police Homicide Section.
And what was your role in your 13 years with the Homicide Section?
Well, I worked as a police officer and also as a sergeant in homicide. I worked with a squad work, which was given a geographical area, assigned cases. I worked in our Homicide Task Force, which handled high-profile cases, law enforcement involved shootings. I ran our cold case squad for almost 2 years, and then I went back to the Homicide Task Force.
Okay. And as part of your current role with the FBI's Violent Crimes Task Force, did you have some involvement into the investigation of Zion Foster's disappearance?
Yes, sir.
And as part of your involvement with that investigation, did you have an opportunity to take a statement from Jaylin Brazier at some point?
Yes, sir.
And when did you take a statement from Mr. Brazier?
That was June 10th of 2022.
And just for clarity of the record, when we're referring to Mr. Brazier, do you see him in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir, I do.
And could you just point to him and describe what he's wearing?
Yes, sir. He's sitting at the defense table in a blue suit.
Thank you. If the record could reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
So reflected.
And what was the purpose of you trying to take a statement from Mr. Brazier on June 10th of 2022?
Well, homicide, specifically, I think it was the commander at the time, Commander McGinnis, asked if we could go up and attempt to interview Mr. Brazier, and tried to obtain a statement from him.
Okay. And where was the statement taken?
At the Newberry Correctional Facility in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Okay. And when you took the statement, were you alone or were you with somebody else?
I had a partner with me.
And who was your partner?
Detective Ryan Mason.
And what is Detective Mason's role in general?
He works at the Violent Crime Task Force with me.
Okay. And when you went to the Newberry Correctional Facility to meet with Mr. Brazier, were you given a meeting space to sit down with him then?
Yes, yes.
And in terms of talking with Mr. Brazier, did you make any sort of threats to him to induce him to make a statement to you?
No, sir.
Did you make any promises to him to induce him to make a statement to you?
No, sir.
Did you use any sort of force on him to induce him to make a statement to you?
No, I did not.
Did you use any sort of trickery or deceit to induce him to make a statement to you?
No, I did not.
And did you have any reason to believe that he wasn't adequately healthy enough to provide a voluntary statement at that point?
There was no indication, no.
Okay. And before he provided the statement, did you advise him of anything?
Yes, I did.
And what did you advise him of?
His constitutional rights.
Okay, and I'm holding what has been marked as proposed exhibit 53. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Are you familiar with this document that's been marked as proposed exhibit 53?
Yes, I am.
And what is that document?
This document is called, it's a piece of paper, it's titled Constitutional Rights Certificate of Notification. This is a standard rights form that the Detroit Police Department uses.
Okay, and I know we've kind of gone over this a couple of times with other witnesses, but did you advise Mr. Brazier of his rights specific to that form?
Yes, I did.
And did he make any indication in writing or orally that he understood his rights?
Yes, he did.
And did he agree to speak with you?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, actually, let me ask. And that particular document, is that a fair and accurate copy of the original document that you executed back on June 10th of 2022?
Yes, it is.
And is anybody's signature on that document?
Yes, Mr.
Yeah, whose signature?
Mr. Brazier's signature is on it, along with his initials next to each of the rights, and the statement advising that he had not been threatened or promised. He also signed it. I signed it as a witness, and then Detective Mason also signed it as a witness.
Okay. With that, I would move to admit proposed exhibit 53.
No objection.
And I would pass as to any voir dire as to voluntariness of the statement.
No questions.
Thank you. Was the statement that you took from the defendant on June 10th of 2022 recorded in any way?
It was audio recorded? Yeah.
Were you able to video record the statement as well?
No, I was not.
And why not?
The facility, Newberry Correctional Facility, did not have video recording equipment for interviews. In fact, they did not have audio recording. I brought my own, and I was granted permission to use it by the warden.
Okay. And I'm holding what's been marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 54. Is it your understanding that this disc contains a copy of the recording of the statement that you took from defendant on June 10th of 2022?
Yes, sir.
And other than redactions for certain audio referencing content that's not admissible in court, would it be fair to say that the recording on this disc is a fair and accurate depiction of the actual statement that you took from the defendant on June 10th of 2022?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'd move to admit proposed exhibit 54.
No objection.
Submitted.
And I'm also holding a transcript marked as proposed exhibit 55. Sergeant, have you had an opportunity to review this transcript?
Yes.
And again, other than redactions for certain content that would not be admissible in court, does this transcript, as far as you can tell, fairly and accurately depict the actual discussion that you had with the defendant back on June 10th of 2022?
Yes, it does.
Thank you. And I move to admit proposed exhibit 55.
No objection.
May I publish proposed exhibit 54, Your Honor?
Yes.
And Sergeant, when you, in your career in law enforcement, have you done other interrogations before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, several.
And do you have a particular style or methodology that you use when doing an interrogation?
Yeah, you can say that.
And what sort of, how would you describe your style?
I know that there's different techniques. I'd say mine is if I'm going somewhere to interview them, I want them to talk to me. So I'm going to talk to them like a person. I'm not going to talk to them, not going to talk down to them. I'm not going to talk to them like I'm a police officer, you're a civilian. I usually introduce myself as Lance Sullivan. I just try to make them feel comfortable and talk to them. And seems to work.
And did you use that sort of style in this particular interrogation?
Yes.
Were there any other sort of methods or tactics that were used during this particular interrogation?
I don't know if I wouldn't say like a fluffing, but sometimes like agreeing with if when they start talking at the beginning, I may agree with them where I might not believe in what they're saying. I may agree with them just to make them feel comfortable and keep them talking.
Okay. And when you're interrogating somebody, do you reveal all the information that you know about the investigation?
No.
Okay. And so do you kind of play dumb to a certain extent when talking about certain subjects?
Yeah, I would. I don't know if I play dumb or I omit some. In this particular case, I had questions for him, and I would refer to as they want to know or homicide wants to know. It's kind of deflecting, so it wasn't coming from me. So, stuff like that.
Okay.
I didn't want to feel threatened.
And I'm going to start publishing the exhibit at the beginning, and just for the court's awareness, this particular recording is about 2 hours and 40 minutes long. I just plan on playing certain segments. I think it adds up to roughly about 45 to 50 minutes total.
Okay.
And starting from the beginning.
We found that. You know what? I didn't find it. We'll find it. I know we're out there. We're like, well, they can go here. They can go here.
Oh, do you have? Can you take those? Are we allowed to take those off him?
Yeah. It's his hands.
How many do you want? One hand, two hands?
You guys normally don't. Are you right-handed or left-handed? Okay. You're right-handed or left-handed?
Right.
All right. How about right? Is that okay? Okay.
You want them all?
If you guys would you like holding it?
Sure.
Good job. Jaylin?
He's in control.
Okay.
Thank you. That's any more restaurant?
Moyer, I'm just going to take these off and put them in that and get you anyway, so.
You want to still bring them down?
Remember, go all the way up,
Yep.
I'll bring them in between the gates and I'll take them from there.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Cool. Jaylin?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. My name's Lance Sullivan. What's up, Denise? He's okay?
That's good.
I mean,
good.
Yeah. All right. So, just to give you a head, I work for Detroit Police. He works for Detroit Police. Okay. Yeah. One or two. Want one? And it's a hell of a journey to get up here, right? So, our goal, like I say, we've never met you before, right? We were never involved in any of this stuff, in this the whole Zion case and all that stuff, right? But they asked, meaning like the people down in Detroit said, and it's completely voluntarily, right? They said, come up and try to talk to you because we're different. We don't work at homicide. We don't work missing persons, And the goal was, I guess, we read everything that they had, meaning the police have, and I guess the goal is to try to get resolved, right? One way or another. Let me say, I know you've told your story, right? And I know a lot of people don't believe you, but again, we don't always think like everybody, right? And there's a reason why they said, because I always say, and I'll tell you, we worked together under 20 years, right? A lot of times I'll say, did you ask what if? And they're like, what do you mean what if? What if they're telling the truth, right? I mean,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Emotion, like I said, I literally said everything that could be said. During my sentencing pre-sentencing on the 16th and on the 30th, my official sentencing, there were blatant lies told, and on my sentence there's half truths. The prosecutor saying that I fled from police and everything. I was like, I never fled from police. I was like, again, how can I flee police if I don't know I'm being followed or monitored? I wasn't hiding or anything. There was a difference on my pregnant fiance while cutting a baby out of her. Like, it'd be stupid for me to stay in a car that's on fire when you move somewhere safely. Right? The whole time I'm trying to make sure they're safe before I come and talk to fucking detectives and everything. Because I told everybody I didn't do anything. I may have reacted wrong like a fucking idiot, but I didn't do anything. And a lie will have you during my sentencing, when her mother was up there saying that, one, I never called her, I never even had her number. And then, unknowing to her, the day that she popped up at my house unannounced with her ex-fiance, my cousin Anthony, I was on the way to go talk to Detective Ryan home. I literally start my car, and they pull up unannounced and hand me these flyers. So it put me in a position of, okay, they're like, I was like, you have to think of all the possibilities of what could happen in that moment. My 1 and 2 year old at home, my prep. I have no guns. Before this situation, I was an average Joe and nobody. That's peaceful, you feel me? Right. You guys pop unannounced. I don't know what's in your car. I don't know what he has. Later on, I find he had a crowbar. Who knows what's going to happen? So I had to react according to my situation.
I get it. I'm not sorry to interrupt you too, but so this was kind of our concept, right? They're like, well, you guys go up there. I'm like, God, it's a long ways up there. But again, I always say, like, and I don't want to get like, I'm not that old of a man, but what if that was my son, right? If my son did something, right, and it wasn't the best choice, how would you treat my son, right? And we do. And Ryan, my buddy, we work together for a long time because we think the same way. So I guess we said, you know something, we'll drive up there, we'll see what we can do. Right? If we can sit down with you, if we can hear the story from you, right? There may be a few questions we have, a few things to fill in, but we'd be able to go back home and say, you know something, we're going to be the first ones to say, if it's believable, we believe him, right? Let's start the healing process, right? Because I'd never met her mother. I've seen her mother on the news, and I heard her say, you know, right? I know, but like, so the thing is, you know, you hear mom on TV saying, threw him away, and who threw him away? And they just paint this picture of some guy, right? So again, I know this is kind of crazy. We're up here out of the blue, and you weren't expecting anything, but that was kind of like our thought. And know this, this doesn't have to be. Remember, I never met you before, right? You never met him. We don't have anything against you. You never did anything to me, right? And I just, if I can get you to understand it and truly believe that, this doesn't have to be a one conversation deal, right? You could call me, you could say, hey, come on up here if you want to talk about something. If you're getting threats, it's not we're going to talk in 10 minutes and we're leaving. I appreciate that. You know, but there are, like, we got to, you know, of course, you're incarcerated. We're talking about the case. We got to go over your rights. You still have the right to an attorney. All of that applies. If you get to the point where you say, like, hey, I don't want to talk about that, but I'll talk about this, we pretty much know everything you're going to say, right? I mean, it's not like, you know, we're twisting it. But I just, again, this is what we do, right? We're not homicide. We're not missing persons. And we do. We come back, and a lot of people, they do respect what we say. And I remember I always say, what if? And I said that, like, what if he is telling the truth? You just
an address on the news. I live right on Greenfield, the main road. So now we know who's looking at our house or anything, man.
There's nobody living there, right? At home.
Not anymore. The Lord got kicked in like 4 times trying to find my fiance and my kids. Nothing stolen, nothing. They're coming to hurt them.
Oh my God.
Like, that's all I've ever done. I don't. It's crazy. Like, okay, one day you're a normal ass dude.
Yeah.
Bullshit, unexpected ass thing happens. You feel me? And next, you know, you're the topic of all kinds of conspiracy, and even your own family. Thinking nobody backfires. Right. Sticking to myself.
Yeah. All right. So let me, if it's all right, like I said, I want to go over your rights. I want to go over all this stuff, and just understand there's no pressure, right? And you're thinking like I never met these guys, but we don't change. There's no, you know, first impressions of who we are. So if you, like you say, if you want to talk to us, I certainly want to hear this story, okay? And that's the truth. You're familiar with the Vice Rights Form?
Yes.
Okay. Let me do this. And I know you can read and write. You went how far in school?
I graduated.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So.
What's that?
I said to go trade for homeless.
Did you really?
Yeah, Detroit Golf Course.
Oh, wow. Any interest in that?
I was supposed to be going to the military. Me and my fiance were supposed to be married by now, and they got somewhere listed active duty so that they can come with me when I get in the military. And this happened.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wow. Well, let me say this, man. And this sounds crazy, but like, you know, I don't know if you're religious or not, right? But I always say, like, you know, for me, I always say, like, God has a plan. There's a lot of times, like, I don't understand a lot of stuff that's happened to me, and he says the same thing with his family. But somehow, some way, there's a plan for this to work, right? And, what's your middle name, Jaylin?
Omar. O-M-A-R.
Okay, and what's your last? B-R-A?
B-I-E-R. It's actually pronounced Brazier.
Brazier? Okay. And your date of birth?
August 10, 1998.
And you know your social security number?
Yes.
What is it? So if you do me a favor, and I'm sure you've seen these before, read these out loud to me. Initial one that you understand, and then if you're,
the situation kind of, one thing my mom told me just to be honest.
Yeah,
but the dude who tell you, like, we don't believe you.
That's the worst.
I'm like, what if I if I did something? Fucking demonized and thrown in here. I understand that I have the right to remain silent and that I do not have to answer any questions put to me to make any statements. Any statement I make or anything I say will be used against me in a court of law. I have the right to an attorney, lawyers present before and during the time I answer any questions or make any statements. If I cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to me without cost by the court prior to any question. I can decide at any time to exercise my rights not answer any questions or make any statements. I understand that these are my rights under the law. I have not been threatened or promised anything, and I now desire and agree to answer any questions put to me or to make a statement. As I understand this.
Okay, is that fair? All right, if you just do the initial those, next to each right, and I have to sign and date it, I'll sign it, Ryan will sign it, as witnesses. And like I said, there's no pressure, right? I mean, it's you've been through all of this, right? Oh, I know.
Last time I talked to I came as I was supposed to, and it still went fucking shit. I'm in prison right now. I'm in fucking prison right now. I never expected this.
Right.
Missing birthdays this month. My third one's doing it. Just all this is fucked up.
Right. Sign there, and then yep, your signature and the date. It's June 10th. Yep, June 10th, 2022. It's 11:49 a.m. All right, and I'm gonna sign it, and I'll sign it. Thanks, June 10th.
I'm gonna pause the video at the 11-minute mark and skip ahead to the 17-minute mark and resume playing it.
We'll come talk to you. We'll make it work, right? I mean, so I guess, again, I know, and then again, if it gets tough, tell me, but, this time, but I guess I kind of like, just want to go back, like, to talk about Zion, or, I haven't heard anything about her, other than the fact that she was missing, right? So, I mean,
okay.
Who is she to you?
She is my cousin through marriage. We became close after her mom. This is what she told me.
Yeah.
My girl witnessed this and her friend Liza, which her mom was trying to get through. Both of my family, we don't talk. Kind of, a lot of tribalism. We stick to who we talk to. We talk to, brothers closely. My immediate family.
Yeah.
And we only talk to other family, like either cookouts or family get-togethers, reunions, we do stuff. Anyway, Zion had graduated from home because, in her words, her mom, she had one of her boyfriends pop at her mother's house unannounced. Her mom essentially didn't like that, so calling her a whore and all that other stuff. And apparently, from what she said, they gun on her. So she ran away. She texted me and her friend Alima on Instagram at the time.
How long ago are we talking?
This was last year. It was before it got cold again, so I would say the end of the summer.
Okay.
I came over for a day, and that's what she told me. Everything she wanted, because I was like, your mom put a gun on you. And at first I didn't believe her. I'm like, okay. So she told me more details.
She told me everything that happened to her while she was younger. She said that for a while, for a whole year, she was getting raped, and her mom and everybody knew about this. And I also have went through some similar unfortunate happenings. And that was basically our bonding, the glue right there. So since then, I would just, if you need anything, I got you. Anything, I got you. That night, she cried, and it was everything she had went through was way more than I could have expected. So I had her call her dad, who lived in Chicago at the time, from what she told me. After that, she left to stay with her friend Lima, and she would keep in contact with me on our phone. I had an iPhone at the time.
Where was Lima? Was she out of state?
No, Lima stays on the east side. I forget the address, but it's on the east side for sure. She wouldn't text her number. She used to email, and she said she's talking to some detective through email because her mom put out missing persons or something. I'm not sure, but this is just what she told me.
This is all like the year, like
this is right
before it got cold
maybe
again.
4 or 5 months before New Year's.
Okay, and this is when you really got close to her.
Yeah.
You knew her though.
Yeah, of course I knew her.
Okay,
But we never talked. We never kicked it because at one point we went to Texas, came back. The whole patch of time, my whole family just did.
You did?
Yeah, we went to Texas in 2010, came back in 2016. And that's why I came back to job corps, graduated, started having babies. Anyways, back to topic.
Yeah.
Lima, my friend Lima. She was staying with her for a minute. And I'm pretty sure y'all can look all this up with phone records from her numbers, unless she used it in an email or something, I don't know. Then she would be with her grandmother who lives close to my house, going down Greenfield, at some home, senior home, I don't know. It might be apartment or senior home. After that, we would talk every once in a while. And this happens. We were, hey, this is after New Year's. This was January 4th.
Okay. Well, let me back up before we hit that. Was there, like, I understand, like, you know, she wanted, like, to smoke the weed, stuff like that, but did you ever hang out with her before that? Like, ever?
Outside of her coming over that night, because she had nowhere to go, and she ran away. And I told her she couldn't stay there. I was like, I'm not about to hurt her, run away. I was like, figure out where you want to go. And that was basically it. She went her friend Lima, who drives a Cavalier or something like that, some Dodge. After that, she texted me, she would FaceTime me, you know, are you okay? Good, I love you. All right, cool. I'm staying out of trouble. That's about the extent of it.
Okay.
She has to hang out every once in a while, but most of the time I'll be busy, either at work or just don't feel like it. Besides that was the extent of it.
So you never hung out with her? This is like a...
Oh, not like going places, no.
Yeah.
I'm an indoor person. Why I say average Joey, nobody. I say that a lot of happens because I would work and I go home. That's all I did. I don't go to clubs. I don't
me.
go to the streets.
Everyone knows me. That's me. And
That's it.
Do it for my kids.
That's the extent of what I do. Everything I need is at home. So that was my spot.
Sure.
No nothing more to it.
Simple life, simple problems.
Until this.
Wow. So
before what? Then jumping ahead, because that's really just
that's good. I like
this situation. Her mom started nagging her, so her friend Lima hit me up on Instagram once, and I think she gave her my number, whoever gave her my number, and she texted me all my numbers. So anyway, for some reason, and my mom had this recorded, and like Lima saying this to her mom, Zion's mom, asked Lima for screenshots of our conversation, and sent that to my side of the family to make it seem as though I was talking to my cousin in a sexual way, and got on the news and said that. So that was the catalyst to start for all of it.
Was this when she was missing?
Yes, this is recent now.
Okay.
Immediately, and how that communication started between me and her mom. Me and my fiance were at her ultrasound appointment, see how far along she is. And Zion's boyfriend called me. I don't know how he got my number. I've never spoke to him.
Sure.
And I told him to have her mom call me. And then her mom called me. And that's how the contact became.
Oh. And this is after?
Yes.
All right, so if we can, let's back up and go like through that night, if you can. So she never came over and smoked weed before? It's like the first time?
We smoked like probably once before that. once
within weeks, months,
definitely months. I don't smoke.
Okay.
Actually started smoking because I had seizures. And
Oh, really?
helped my seizures.
Oh, okay.
And all my weed is legal from the.
And I'm going to stop recording at 23:55. At this point, was there some reference made by the defendant as to why he smoked marijuana?
Yes.
And what was that reason?
He said he started smoking because he had seizures.
Resume the video at 23:55.
He's shaking business out. So yeah, this is after New Year's. Okay, she texted me, Happy New Year's, Happy New Year's. You want to hang out? I was like, cool, yeah, why not? Like I told Savita, I told everybody, I have my own weed, she brought her own weed. That's the extent of what I know. We were chilling. I ate some pizza rolls. She had a pop tart. It was just a normal day, chilling, watching YouTube. About an hour 30 went by. Previously to this, she was saying that she was feeling tired. And I'm like, okay, that's a normal thing with marijuana. If you feel tired, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Not the idea. I get up to go give me some Kool-Aid. So it was the red one, the cherry strawberry. Kool-Aid, come back, sit down. Finish my cup, at least 30 minutes go by. I'm like, okay, it's time for me to take you back home. That's hurt. Right onto the floor. Straight like that, and that's the start of my nightmare. Straight up, right there, that's the start of it. Like I told Savito, it's all on TV.
I don't want to hear you. I want to hear you, right?
At that moment, like I told him, I was nowhere close to a normal mindset. Like I've never been that terrified in my life at all. I waited, I shook her, I said, okay, she's not breathing. Pulses from my training once here, just here to here. No pulses, no air. She was just dead, and I didn't know what to do. And like I said, in that moment, I had to think about everything. My first thing, and ironically, because of the situation, man, I was like, somehow, motherfucker's gonna say that I did something to her. That's the very first thought I had. I was like, this is fucked up. I was like thinking about my kids, my wife. We just got this duplex. We were homeless for like 2 years, living with my brother out the car. It was stressful. We just got here in April before New Year's. It just got on our feet. It just got a car. And it happened. In retrospect, I'm like, I couldn't really just calm down. I took the time to calm down. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know, man. But so then, her mom calls me, and I'm scared still. I'm still trying to figure out the best possible way to it. And I'm like, okay, the best possible way to handle this was just to talk to Rhino, which was my plan. So like, I don't know. Ryan Hall calls me. I think he gets Eastpointe detective, and we schedule a time for me to come there and talk to him. That's what I'll be there the next day. The next day, I literally get into my car, go to start the car, and she pulls up and Anthony pulls up, completely blindsiding me. So I'm like, I can't just tell you what happened right now because, one, you know where I stay. I don't know how you know where I stay. My kids, I'm thinking about the safety of my kids, my family right now.
Absolutely.
And then you pull up these flyers, and it's fucked up. It's very fucked up. I can understand if I was in her perspective. But I had to react the best way I can to protect them for as long as I can so I can get them somewhere safe. That's just what it was.
Right.
So then, bam, I went there to go see Ryan Hall that day. The next day, Ryan Hall calls me on you're my main suspect, Tim, the news, you want to be at your house. I'm like, see, that's got to be some kind of infringement of rights or something because I'm on the news parts. The next thing I know, all down YouTube, my address, right off Greenfield, everything. I'm just like, so now who knows who could be following my fiance when she go to work or watching us? Who knows? Not to mention he get death threat on kicking in my door, shooting my firstborn Deshaun in the head, regardless on if I'm quoting it. While I was in Macomb County, this is called my girlfriend got. Whether I did anything or not, we're going to shoot her firstborn in the head and hurt Katrina, who's pregnant still now. Whether you did anything or not, because we just want you to feel how we feel. So this is what I'm dealing with. Mind you, of course, now this is why I pled no contest to lying to the police, because I was like, in my opinion, I did not lie. I was on the way to talk to you, literally, but unknown you, I was.
And I'm going to stop at 28 minutes and 21 seconds. So
he did not lie.
I'm going to continue the video, the audio recording at 28 minutes and 29 seconds.
So now your perspective is, oh, he's dodging. I'm like, no, I'm not dodging. So then, from that point on, while we left the house, I can't explain it. I was laying down and I was having this intense feeling that something was about to happen. Like, intense, like it had to be God. Like, something bad is about to happen, like safety-wise. I try to sleep it off. I can't sleep it off. I'm like, okay. So I was like, okay, like I usually do, just listen to your gut. I woke up my fiance, got my kids, and went to my brother's house who stays in Pontiac. We get out there. The next day, I wake up, and on our phones, our alarm system is tripped. And somebody kicked in the door and ripped out the
sensor.
The pad, yeah, the passcode, and ripped the whole thing up. Breached the front door and the back door. Later I find out, later that day I wake up, there's a tow truck in front of my car. And I think this is where they try to say that I was a menace to society running from police. There's a tow truck in front of my car. Anybody should actually see a tow truck in front of your car to run to your car. It's just instinct. I run to the car, I'm about to start it. In the blink of eyes, like 8, I would say a maximum of 8 FBI agents with guns drawn on me, screaming, get out of the car, put your hands up. Some movie shit.
Right.
Straight up.
Right.
My girl's screaming, she's crying, yada yada. So, from my perspective, trying to protect them as I can, that compromised the safety of where I was going to have to be. And then I was going to have my brothers to come talk to right home. But now, I don't know who knows where y'all are at. So I have to move y'all from here.
I'm going to stop at 30 minutes and 10 seconds and move ahead to 37 minutes.
Trust me, I've had quite a few incidences where they're like, yeah, he's right, it's not what it appears to be. So what we heard, and I'll give you a little bits and pieces of it, right? And part of it is like, the police concentrate on like timelines, right? So we want to get a timeline. If someone says something.
And alleges, when Ron was talking to me, and then when I got my first court appointment, Brian Moore was asking me all types of shit. When basically what I'm saying is, by the time I talked to them, I clearly understood they already had in mind of what they believe. He's asking the dude who was telling me, yeah, I have a cousin through marriage, and sometimes you get these, I'm quoting him, you get these feelings, and there's nothing. Essentially, you think there's some kind of romantic situation with me and my cousin, essentially, and that's what y'all were running with. That's what they ran with, essentially. Then I get to county, and my court appointed integrity bounty. He comes to me, he's like, well, they said they presented you with evidence of this, that, and I was like, no, none of that ever happened. I came to y'all like a civilized human being and told y'all what happened. Literally, that's it. So, basically, from my perspective, I was like, okay, well, the narrative is written. That's just how it's felt since then. Right. No matter what I said. Wow. Literally. Even though everything I told y'all is the truth. And there's no more to it. There's not.
Right. All right. And that's kind of like, so now you have an idea of what I'm being fed. We're being fed, right? So it's like, okay, well, now I guess, and then they key on every single thing, right? Like, well, he said this, said that. He said A, and then he said and. Right? Not literally, right? But it gets to be that. So the whole LSD thing came up. Mm-hmm. And you tell me.
Yeah, like I've tried psychedelics. I did it for spiritual reasons. I don't sell psychedelics. I don't know what the assumption is. He asked me. I honestly asked, yeah, I tried psychedelics. I tried LSD.
Did I was told like you guys both had a hit that night? Is that you tell me? Use your words. All I'm saying is I'm telling you what I'm being told. Right? Yep, and I want to get the truth. I want to know what the hell's going on here.
And he talked to me, he kept pressuring me for just something to say.
Who was this now?
The dude who was interrogating me. It wasn't Ryan Holt. It was a different dude. I don't know his name.
What was the setting? Was he with Ryan Holt?
No.
Did he talk to you by himself?
He was talking to me. He was talking to me by himself.
White guy, black guy?
White guy, blue eyes. He was asking me how I would assume, from my perspective, manipulative ass questions. He asked me, the first question he asked me, have I ever hurt anybody I love? Yes. Remembering my fiance, we've been in arguments before. Obviously, that's what I'm thinking about. But flips it,
At that point, I just.
Was he a big guy? Kind of a portly, big belly?
Well, you're good with a belly.
Oh, big belly. See the difference, huh?
Yeah, I tried that too. And that was that.
Now you said something about depression. Did you tell him something that one?
Yeah, I started trying this COVID shit to get out of office. I was like, he's like, it's exactly what it was. Did she ask you this? Did she have anything with her, or could she have touched anything? And I was like, I don't know. Only thing else that I had was LSD. And he goes, my memory's lost. He goes, oh, well, if you were under the influence of acid, that wasn't you that hurt her. I was like, I never said I hurt anybody. I'm answering your questions. And that's why I started talking to him, like, you're trying to box me into something I'm not saying. And
all right, okay. And so the version that I heard was like, was that like, well, I left that out about the LSD, but yeah, we both took a hit of LSD, and it must have hit her different or hit her wrong.
bullshit. Yeah.
Did you say it bullshit to him, or did he? See, I'm saying he's telling me that. I'm just trying to say, is he telling me bullshit like he didn't say, or did you tell him?
That's why I told him. Okay. I felt pressure to just throw something out there. Before I did not mention that I tried acid for any guys throwing out the weed, but I just want to stop talking.
And I'm stopping at 41 minutes and 31 seconds. Near this point, it sounded like you summarized a prior statement about LSD. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what was the defendant's response to that?
I'm kind of confused. That he told.
What did he tell you about that prior statement?
That he told the investigator that his words were get him off of him. You know, that it wasn't true.
Okay. Did he use a specific phrase to describe what he had said previously? Rhymes with bullshit.
Yeah.
That's leading.
That's
leading.
I didn't. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back. Let's go back in the audio a second. Let's start at 4:25.
Anything with her, or could she have touched anything? And I was like, I don't know. Only thing else that I had was LSD. He goes, my memory's lost. He goes, oh, well, if you were under the influence of acid, that wasn't you that hurt her. I was like, I never said I hurt anybody. I'm answering your questions. And that's why I started talking to him, like, you're trying to box me into something I'm not saying. And
all right, okay. And so the version that I heard was like, was that like, well, I left that out about the LSD, but yeah, we both took a hit of LSD, and it must have hit her different or hit her wrong.
Bullshit.
And stopping at 41 minutes and 12 seconds. So what was his response when you described the LSD issue?
He said it's bullshit.
Continue at 41 minutes and 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Did you say it bullshit to him, or did he? See, I'm saying he's telling me that. I'm just trying to say, is he telling me bullshit like he didn't say, or did you tell him?
That's why I told him. I felt pressure to just throw something out there before I did not mention that I tried acid for any guys throwing out the weed, but I just want to stop talking to you. I'm scared as fucking the dog. Yeah. They also asked for DNA. I gave them that. So it's still running with the narrative that something could have happened to me or her. I've been cooperating the whole time.
Okay. That makes sense. I'm just, okay. That makes sense. All right, because, like, you know, what's that?
I said, still too weird.
Yeah. Right? There's more where that came from Myers. Yeah, but yeah, that was something. So what kind of look at the narrative, like the big picture, and they're looking at like, well, if he said this time, right? You look at, you know, the way police get information, right? If you're not well-rounded and you're looking at everything, saying, well, he said this the first time, and then, oh, by the way, he just threw in the acid part. So they start thinking, what else?
Throw in the normal motherfucker in the situation.
No. Trust me, I get it. Let me tell you, I'm gonna back off all of this for one.
Stop at 42 minutes and 24 seconds and move to the 49-minute mark.
You know, if I didn't care, or if I didn't, you know, put that extra into it, you know, so I understand where you're coming from about the LSD part. I mean, that makes sense, right? Because I'll be honest, as soon as you said that, what they do, they started combing through records, right? Did he ever buy it? Did we see anything in his records? Facebook? Does he sell it?
He asked me about an OnlyFans account, which was completely out of left field. I told him no, because I didn't understand what the question was. But me and my girl were freaky. We was doing freaky shit. I was like, those are the type of out of the blue questions that have shit to do with the situation, which is made me uncomfortable. I'm like, what are you getting at here? And yeah, I'm here, John. I've been honest this whole time. I don't have anywhere. My only fear is the situation getting worse for me, because that's all I see.
And that's why we kind of like, certainly, when they brought it up, and we were certainly willing to come up, and I'm like, hold on a second, let's see, because the theory is this, when, you know, you'll hear people say it, like, tell your story, don't let anyone else tell your story, right? And so that was, and then that's where it's heading. They're digging, right? They're doing, I'm sure it's all over the news, they're looking, they're digging, and, you know, they're a couple weeks into it, you know, they found some stuff, but again, it's looking like if we find that, then we can do this, you know, and you know, again, that's not how I work. You know, if I'm putting my name on something, Ryan's putting his name on something, we want to make sure we're thorough, we're comfortable, you know. There's some talk, so just so we understand each other, I'm completely comfortable with it. There was the LSD. You're saying there was no LSD taken? Okay, it was for that guy that was interviewing you?
Yeah, completely, 100%.
Okay, so that night when you were with her, it was just...
I had my own weed from Liz, the dispensary in Ferndale. I have no idea where she gets her stuff from.
Okay, did you guys mix your weed or something?
Never.
Okay, because I heard that. Again, I'm glad I heard this, because when your understanding you guys mixed the weed?
No, I have my weed in my jar, which I told the detective where it was. Do whatever forensics, whatever checks supposed to do.
Do you know if she had any weed left over, or something they could have tested of her? Did they get any weed?
I have no idea. They didn't tell me anything.
Okay.
I told them, man, I don't know. That's that.
Okay.
Whatever. The only weapons in my house is a gardening machete and a pocket knife. So I'm pretty sure from what they believe happened, they would have looked at that, seen there's nothing there. I honestly assumed that with whatever you could have found in my house would only prove that I did not do it.
Sure.
I told y'all, which would have been insane to come to y'all regardless what happened. Like, that's my only defense.
No,
what the fuck did I come to you? I know what your job is. Most of you, all of you at least, do all your job thoroughly. It's your job for a reason, you feel me?
Right, yeah, and then we said it too, right?
So when I come to you and I'm telling you, I don't believe you. This is the narrative that we're hearing about this, and have you ever heard anybody you love after asking me when having my fiance got into it? You can't say that's not manipulative, like literally. Right. And mind you, I told everyone I met, I don't know what the fuck going on. Truly, I never had to get a lawyer, never been in any. This is the most real life to movie shit I've ever experienced in my life.
Yeah.
Like I told my lawyer, I'm a normal Joe at home. Damn this. My track record, stupid ass deaths, and I've been cool.
What kind of stuff?
Fucking.
I'm gonna stop at 53 minutes, and the next chunk is a little bit longer, so.
Okay. Yeah, it's 3:58, so this is a good time to break. I realize, ladies and gentlemen, you've been a sort of long slog this week. I appreciate your patience, timeliness. Realize it's not easy to take this break out of your life, but I think we are not only on schedule, but I think ahead of schedule, so that's the good news. We'll have you back here on Monday at 9:30. Again, I've got a number of things unrelated in this case I need to address. So I'll do my best to have those done so we can start right at 9:30. So be here before 9:30 so we can start on time and just keep pushing ahead. Okay? Have a great weekend and a great weekend.
You guys get your stuff.
A lot more unfolding on day 4 of the murder trial of Jaylin Brazier and the disappearance of Zion Foster in January of 2022. We just finished hearing from Sergeant Lance Sullivan. He worked with the Detroit FBI Violent Crimes Task Force, and he talked about the time when he interviewed Jaylin Brazier. He and his partner were both present during this interview here, and this interview took place in June of 2022. Now, we heard audio from that interview. We did not see video. This one here was an audio interview. Now, in this interview, Jaylin continued his claims that he did nothing wrong, and he could also be heard saying that he had to react to his situation. He also said he and Zion probably smoked together one other time other than that night in January of 2022. And as that interview continued, he talked about what happened that night. And you could see Jaylin becoming noticeably emotional and shaking as we heard that interview play back in the courtroom. And he also could be heard saying in that interview that the two of them did not use LSD. They did not mix their marijuana. And these are all claims that in previous interviews, he did say that LSD was used and that they mixed their marijuana. So we hear some changing of the stories here compared to other interviews that we've heard over the past few days here. And again, that interview was with Sergeant Lance Sullivan with the Detroit FBI Violent Crime Task Force. Now, court has wrapped up for the day. It will resume Monday morning at 9:30. Of course, we will be streaming it here live on Live Now Fox 2 Detroit. Be sure to tune in as we continue our coverage of this trial. Have a great weekend.